but that's part of what being a man truly is. You have responsibilities outside yourself, and you fit into a hierarchy. Whether if you're a husband, you have responsibilities over your children and over your wife, to protect them, to love them, to nurture them, to not in a way that a wife would work nurture, but in providing, um, in encouraging. If you're a leader in a church, then the same would apply to the church. If you're a leader in government, the same that would apply to your constituents. But even if you're just someone in a community, we're not born blank slates without any attachments. We have attachments and obligations as we just grow up in a community of people, and men take that seriously. Real men, they want to do their best for that. And I think in some ways, a knowledge of the divine, of knowing that you're going to be judged for this, probably helps foster some of that. But um, just having good role models and examples. Paul even said, uh, basically, follow me as I follow Christ. And so it's good to have some good role models. And today we don't have a lot of that. So there aren't men being held up as positive examples of this, only negative examples. If anyone ever tries to be a man, they're made fun of. All the sitcoms make fun of them. So,
You're right.
what we do need, and I'm starting to see this a little bit, at least in some quarters of Christianity, is good examples. And there's plenty of them out there, but Christian Manhood Illustrated by people who do take their responsibilities seriously, and can exude that kind of whatever that thing is that people want to follow.
Gravitas,
Yeah,
the
that
gravitas.
quality,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And so I am starting to see that, and there's a lot of young men right now. I think the Jordan Peterson kind of phenomenon showed this a lot more, but there are some smaller figures now in Christianity, I think, that are starting to kind of have the same effect on a mini scale. But someone who is willing to buck the system because they loved others, because they cared about truth. That's infectious. That's young men without fathers, who have come from broken households, who have moved, 3 times, and don't have a sense of place. They're looking for that stability somewhere, and this is the golden opportunity for Christians who, look, we got the man's man of all time, Jesus Christ. Look, that guy went to the cross and was punished in ways, and had more pain inflicted on him than anyone else ever in human history. And emotional and physical, and yet he endured it for the joy set before him, and to please his Father, and to redeem a people. He accomplished something, and that's what men
And
want to
he
do.
could
They
have
want to
avoided it.
accomplish things, and he could have. That's right.
In that vein, in that masculine vein, like, so you're right, at great cost of himself to the benefit of others, but also, he's, for which of these works, right? His miracles, healing people. For which of these works are you seeking to kill me? None. Nobody had a problem with his works, but it's because you make yourself out to be equal with God, aka what the Pharisee said was, it's because of what you say. It's not what you do, it's your words. And so at any point, Jesus could have avoided the crucifixion, by not speaking courageously as a man does. You know what I mean? And that's so Jesus set this
Yeah.
example of masculinity by sacrificing himself, taking great pain, great cost to himself, to the benefit and the life and the welfare of others, everything you're saying, but then also adding to that, and at any step in the road, even in his correspondence with Pilate, at any step, he could have ended it. He, not just by calling a legion of angels down when he was already hanging on the cross. I'm saying, no, in practical terms, he had the constant temptation, just as we do, except he resisted it perfectly. But the constant temptation at any point to just stop talking. Just let it slide. Just let it go. Don't say something confrontational. Don't say something courageous. Don't speak up. Don't speak out. Don't. That's what hung him on the cross, right? That he got nailed to the cross because of his speech and because he was calling out. He was calling out sin. He was calling out the cultural norms, all these kinds of things that
Well,
were
he was
flying in the
calling the
face of.
Pharisees, that they're making their proselytes twice as much a son of hell as they are, and it'd be better if a millstone was hung around your neck. And I mean, he said some things that go way past a lot of the things Trump said as far as harshness. And yeah, I mean, he made bitter enemies because of it. But you see that, I mean, this principle that God resists the proud, gives grace to the humble. To those who were sinful but humble and repentant, I mean, he was gentle. I mean, he said, my burden is light. Um, my yoke is easy. So, in Jesus, we have this figure that wants to defend the weak and then wants to take on the bad guys, really expose them for who they are. And throughout, in our context, but Western history is filled with these examples. We see this template repeated over and over, imperfectly, in people like George Washington, and like I referenced those old cowboy movies and stuff. That's kind of like they're trying to reach for something. They're trying to copy something, a template that's already been laid down, and that template is what's been destroyed. And that's a forbidden template. You're not supposed to be like that if you're a man. And I think here's the takeaway in my mind. This is like the big lesson here to wrap kind of sort of like everything we're talking about up. But if you are a leader in a church, no matter how big your platform is, if you want to let the bad guys get away with what they're getting away with, maybe you'll even help them a little. You give them a little bit of a boost by sort of strapping Christianity to their agenda or something. You'll have an easy life, possibly. I mean, you take that gamble a little bit, they could turn on you, but you have a better chance of having an easy life, and people won't have a problem with you as much, and you'll be able to get through life. Maybe you'll have a little more material prosperity. You'll be thought of a little better, but in the end, you won't actually be respected. Not real respect. You won't have, little boys aren't going to be growing up with stars in their eyes looking at you because you saved the day and are a war hero or something like that. You're a coward. That's what you are. And you have an easy life, but you're a coward. And you're going to be servicing a church for other cowards who also are interested in the same thing. They want their ears tickled. But if you are willing to take a stand, to call out the names of people who are wrecking men's souls, and then physically even perhaps damaging people and communities, it's not going to be easy for you, but you can put your head on your pillow at night. You can have the pleasure of the Lord. You can actually know a joy that's even deeper, and you'll have actual respect because you're worthy of it. Because I mean, I don't want to say anyone's worthy of anything, but you've actually earned it.
You earned
to
it.
some
No,
extent.
you're right.
Yeah, you've earned
You
it to
earned
some
it. Yeah,
extent.
we're all worthy of hell. But no,
That's
but
right.
you're right.
That's
Trust and respect is earned. And that doesn't mean that, that we can earn salvation. But no, in a horizontal human sense, like love. So forgiveness, we forgive freely because we've been freely forgiven, and forgiveness, I think, is likens to love. So I can love my enemies and pray for those who persecute me. But trust is a different category. And I think forgiveness falls underneath the love banner, and respect, I think, falls underneath the trust banner. And the Bible,
Agreed. Yep.
by the Bible's mere commandment, merely by the Bible's commandment for us to be discerning, that right there, by way of implication, tells us that the Christian worldview says that trust is not assumed, right? If trust is assumed, then there's no basis of discernment. And so trust, therefore, must be earned over time by action and word and faithfulness and those kinds of things. And so, absolutely, like we earn trust, and by proxy, we earn respect. And yeah, man, I like Michael Scott on The Office. I want people to be afraid of how much they love me. But like, I want people to respect me. I don't want to just be loved or liked. And I think that's what, it's not even true love. What guys are settling for right now is not even the love of their parishioners or their congregation. They're settling for just their approval. It's not love. It's just being liked. And I don't want to be liked. I want to be loved, and I want to be respected. More than even being loved, I want to be respected because I'm a man. Respect matters more to me than even love. And just, I think, the way that God's designed men. And so
I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, would you consider supporting this ministry by giving a donation of any amount? You can do so by going to our website, rightresponseministries.com. Let's be frank. Sadly, many evangelical pastors and leaders are serving as nothing more than water carriers for the political left. Just as those in the political left hate you, just like those corporations that are left-leaning hate you, these pastors and evangelical leaders hate you. I know that's a strong statement to make. I'm aware of that, but it's true. They don't care about your personal liberty. They don't care about your freedom. They want you to love your neighbor at the expense of biblical truth, even if it means bearing false witness. That's not us. We're different. We're not the only ones. I don't want to be arrogant. God has reserved a remnant for himself in this time, as he has all other ages and all other places, but they are few and far between. It's called a remnant for a reason. We need your help. We want to stand up to tyranny. We want to stand up to this new left totalitarian regime. We want to defend Christians and people, the salt of the earth, who love America and who love God's word. But we can't do it without your help. If you're not prepared or able to give a financial gift, one way that you can support this ministry is by simply subscribing to our YouTube channel and clicking the bell so that you'll be notified as we come out with new content. You can also help us by sharing our content on all your social media platforms so that more people can hear the truth of God's word with courage and fidelity. Thanks for tuning in. God bless.